Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Spring is well and truly here, and that is a wonderful thing, apart from the fact that all of my dogs are allergic to pollen, and they all have hay fever. So the thing is that I've been dealing with this for many years now, because just this set of dogs are around 10 years old, and like little Albert there, he's had hay fever his whole life. So I've kind of got it under control, and no one is suffering now. So I'm just going to show you what I've been doing. And let me tell you first of all the symptoms. So all of them have had hay fever, have had lots of sneezing and itchiness. That's their main symptoms. So Harry here, he gets very sneezy. But the other two, they get sneezy, but they get very itchy with it as well. And if it's just happening in the spring, then there's a huge chance that that's hay fever. Sometimes it can happen again in the autumn. If your dog is itching all year round, then it could be more to not be pollen, but to do with something that's going into the body. And so it could be that you're feeding your dog grains. And so just to get them onto a grain-free dog food will help that so much. So let me just show you the things that I'm doing and that have worked. So I've been doing this for years and years, and I've got it all under control. So let me just go through the things I'm doing. So the first thing is Piriton. So no, that's not Piriton, this is Piriton. I use this as a last resort. So when the symptoms start, I don't put them on it. But if the symptoms are getting, like the itching's getting unbearable for them, then I will put them onto Piriton. So I went to a vet many years ago, maybe 15 years ago, with a dog that had hay fever, and they put me on this, and I've been doing it ever since. When you go to the vet, they will charge you a lot for the Piriton tablets, but you can get them online. So I just buy them online, human grade tablets. They're 4 milligram tablets, and a 10 kilogram dog has 2 tablets. So the 4 milligram tablets, a 10 kilogram dog has 2 tablets, one in the morning, one in the evening. I'm actually going to write a blog post about this, in case you need it all written down. I'll link the blog. I'll link my blog post, and it'll be in description. So that's what I do. Now it's really important that you do not give dogs other human hay fever tablets, because they're toxic. But Piriton is fine. If you're not sure about the dose, take your dog to the vet, and then they'll tell you the dose, and then you can go from there. But that's what I was told, and that's what I've done ever since. I daily, all year round, give my dogs a heaped spoon of salmon oil, human grade salmon oil, in a tin, because in a tin it's really oily, and that oil really helps their skin be nice and soft and stops itching. The other thing that I do, and this is another thing, I've been using this product for exactly 10 years actually. I found it 10 years ago. Johnson's tea tree oil. Now if you're in the UK, you can get this in Pets at Home or on Amazon. It's just not tea tree oil, tea tree cream. Don't just use tea tree oil. It can be toxic to dogs in the wrong amounts, as can so many things. But in the right amounts, this is ideal. And I've been using this product for, like I said, the last 10 years on everything. Like if they get bitten by a insect, a little Albert, I don't know if you can see him over in the garden there. He's prone to hot spots. It's completely under control. He hasn't had any for many years. But if in the beginning when he did have lots of hot spots, this was really good for them. And what I'm doing is, because there's nothing like hot spots or anything coming up. It's just a general itchiness they've got. And so what I'm doing is, with this, it's really good. So it's a spray, and I'm spraying it into my hands and then rubbing it over the area that they're scratching. So luckily they've all stopped now. Everything's stopped. All the symptoms have stopped since, I've been doing all of this. But the first sign that they had hay fever was that they were scratching their tummies, but then there was no particular sign of anything. So spraying that in my hands and then rubbing it all over their tummies really helped. I love this product. I love it because it actually works, but also because the spray, all the cream. So if your dog will allow you to touch and if you've actually got an actual area where you can see. You can put the cream on and it's really good. And if you're dealing with hot spots, this isn't what this is about. This is about pollen. So it's hot spots are caused because of what's gone into the body. These kind of allergies are caused by what's outside the body. So if you have got hot spots, it's a completely different subject really. And I'm going to link a video at the end that talks about hot spots. And I go through my journey, what I did, everything I put in place to stop them, and it worked, and they've been very successful and hasn't been anything for 10 years. My little Albert there, I don't know if you can see him, he's the one who had bad hot spots. But anyway, back to hay fever. So you've got the two creams. Now the thing is, the reason that they have the problem with the pollen is because the pollen's on them. So my whole aim is to get the pollen off them. So when we get back from our walk, the first thing I do is wipe them down with wet wipes. And you could just do this with a wet flannel. I just use wet wipes, just baby wet wipes. And I just wipe them down all over. And then sometimes if we've been somewhere like there's been cut grass or something like that, I'll just dip their paws into a bucket of water and just wash any pollen off. If your dog won't let you do that, look at them out there. If your dog won't let you do that, then you can just put a wet towel down over a doorway. Because Hump's there. Let me show you my Humps out here. Hump's here. If you don't know my channel, this is one of my dog's Humps. And he's a gorgeous boy, really gorgeous boy. But he's not too okay with his paws being touched yet. We've only just got him. Something I'm working on. He came to us about a year ago, but I'm working on it. But what I do is I just put a wet towel down in a doorway that he has to walk through, and then that will wipe some of the pollen off his paws. It's not as good as dunking them or washing them with a wet flannel, but it's better than nothing, because that's what you're aiming to do, is just to get the pollen off them. So after I've wiped them with the wet wipe, I just brush them through. I know a lot of dogs don't like being brushed. I've got a video about that actually, about how to brush your dogs in a way they like it. It's really clever, and I've never known a dog to have a problem with it, and that's how I've taught all my dogs to be brushed, whether they were a puppy or whether they were a rescue older. It's always worked. If you go to the playlist, go to grooming dogs, and it's in there, and because if you can brush your dog through, that again is just helping you to get rid of the pollen. Let me show you what else I do. Oh yeah, turmeric. So turmeric is brilliant for bringing down inflammation. So whether you're dealing with an allergy problem like hay fever, or whether you're dealing with hot spots, stuff like that, this is brilliant because turmeric brings down inflammation. And that's basically all allergies are with dogs is inflammation. So whether it is hot spots or whether it's allergies from outside, it's all caused by inflammation. And so turmeric brings inflammation down. You need the black pepper with it because that activates the ingredient in turmeric. I am going to talk to you in a minute about coconut oil, and that, or the salmon, the oil in the salmon is a fat, and fat just helps activate the turmeric even more. So that's a good thing. I always do that. This I just get off Amazon. I don't always stick to this brand, but this is just the one I'm using at the moment, and it's just turmeric and black pepper for dogs. That I did a little experiment. I took them off that for a while because I wanted to see, because I don't just use it for allergies and stuff. I also use it because Humps here, when he came to us, his back legs were so bad that he couldn't walk because he had really, really bad arthritis. It all sorted out now, brilliant. But so obviously that is an inflammation. And so I had him on the turmeric for that. And when I took him off the turmeric, because I took him off it for a week, because I just wanted to see if it was actually worth still having them on it. Do they need to be on it all the time? And when I took him off it, his back legs started to get stiff again. So that just really reaffirmed for me that the turmeric really works and takes down inflammation. I knew it anyway, but I just wanted to make sure, did they need to be on it all the time? And that proved that they that they did. So the other thing that I do is try and keep the house as clean as I can. What are they doing over there though? Looking at something. So obviously if you've got dogs, your house gets a bit messy, doesn't it? But when we're in hay fever season, I just try to keep the pollen as in the house as low as I can, because basically they're lying on the floors a lot, so I try and keep the floors as clean as I can. Just hoover, you know, regularly, wipe them, get them mopped regularly. And the other thing that I do is change their bedding more often than I would normally, because I don't want them lying in the pollen that's on that. And it's amazing how the pollen just, it's everywhere. You can't see it, but well, sometimes when the sun shines, you can see little white bits of pollen in the house, but it just gets everywhere. And the other thing that I do is on the sofas, I always have blankets that I can just wash, and I wash them every week. And I do that anyway. I do that all throughout the year because the sofa will just get so dirty. But that's one thing that I do. I just do that extra during pollen season so that they're just not lying in pollen. And all of that stuff, there's no symptoms. You wouldn't know that they had hay fever. You just wouldn't know doing all of that stuff. But without it, they're all really sneezy, really itchy, and yet it takes all of that away. So hopefully there's something in there that will help your dogs. It's not a nice thing for them, but there's stuff you can do. And like I said, I've been doing this stuff for years, and yeah, I get control of it very, very quickly, recognising it's time of year, recognising that's what's happening. And the sneezing is always the thing with it, because if they've got if it is a problem with something that's going into the body, that doesn't cause sneezing. It causes itching, it causes hot spots, but it can sometimes cause bad tummies, and that's a sign the hot spots are coming. And all of that is in that video. But with the hay fever, the sneezing is always my sign that, okay, that's it. The sneezing comes, then the itching comes, and then that's it. I know the hay fever is here. And also I get hay fever, so I've been having it extra bad this year, so I'm assuming the pollen count is a bit higher. So that's that. So I hope it helps. Any questions at all, pop them into comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. Oh, just a quick thing I forgot to mention is coconut oil. It's so good for dogs. A little spoonful of that every day. Give all of my dogs. It's really, really good for their skin. Don't put it onto the skin. You need to feed them it. My dogs have always liked it just as it is, but you can just put it into their dinner. It comes in it's sort of like hard, and you just put a little blob of it into their dinner. It's absolutely brilliant. If you've got a hot spot, never put coconut oil onto the hot spot, because you want the hot spot to dry out. That's the whole point of what you're trying to achieve, and that will completely stop that. So don't ever put it onto the skin, but just a spoonful of that every day. I do it every day, and again, it absolutely does wonders. Bye.